So conscious living includes appreciation of the environment and how that your children can protect the environment. It includes social justice, which I kind of captured with this painting here. That we're anti-war, we are like pro-peace, helping out in the community of people that are suffering, or that are suffering more than you. Sometimes, everybody suffers in different ways, but you can always find somebody who suffers more than you, and you can find ways to help them. So exposing our children to ways that they can participate in the community and help people that are not as well off as they are is a really important part of conscious living. Another part of that, and so they just spent the money and created this whole series of it's people from diverse racial backgrounds and just normal folks and old people, young people, middle-aged people, just smoking cannabis in different situations, working out, smoking cannabis, having a dinner party, smoking cannabis. Yeah.
Who did that?
The Drug Policy Alliance.
The Drug Policy
Alliance. DPA. So that's the thing, like just changing the way people, that small thing of let's create some stock photos so that when someone writes an article about cannabis, they can have a positive photo. Huge cultural shift, right? And so have experiences where we're talking about, and they're doing the normal things that people do when they're in real community, but we're doing with all of our psychedelic friends, right? It's a sacrament. And what's important about that, and this is another thing if you're investigating one of these groups that says that they have religious protection for psychedelic use, there has never been a group that has passed the legal sniff test of having a legitimate psychedelic religion that has had multiple sacraments. So, and the reason for this is that it's a stupid loophole, but you have the people that are evaluating this are kind of doing it based on this model of Christianity, right? Mm-hmm. They think, Christianity has two sacraments, you have the bread and the wine, but let's ignore that for a second, it doesn't matter. What they say is that it has to be something that is fundamental to the practice of your religion. So if you say that ayahuasca and mushrooms are the sacrament of our church, then neither one of those by itself is required for you to practice your religion. If one was gone, you could use the other. So then they could say that neither one of them is vital to the practice of your religion, and they won't say that you're a real religion. So you decide together, what is our sacrament, what are our values, what is the most important things that we have collectively gleaned from our psychedelic experiences that we can agree on together, yes, we all think that this is true. So that when other people come into the community, even if you eventually go back to the sacrament and change some of those things, it's really important that you have a statement of if we're a community, if we're a group, we say, these are the things that we collectively agree are true. And we're open to changing those things, but if you want to come in, it's probably a good idea that you are keen to these things as well. And then, what are our sacred texts you can write your sacred texts, but you have to have a document that says these are the things that we believe, and this is where they come from. And others will drink ayahuasca during labor. Babies their brains are steeped in this medicine from the moment of birth, right? But that doesn't really work in our society. And there's the biggest reason why, and it's not that we are different than those people. The most important reason why I would say that my 8-year-old is not in the right place to drink ayahuasca or to eat mushrooms is not because she's not spiritually mature as that little girl right there that's receiving her first ayahuasca medal from the padrino, but because that little girl at 8 years old has 9 and 10-year-old peers that have already had that experience. She has teenage cousins that have already had that experience. She has the padrino. She has a community of people around her that aren't her mom and dad, right? Who she can bounce these things off of. She's about to have a identity erasing experience. If this guy has an identity erasing experience, the only person that he's going to be able to feel comfortable coming to is me or his mom or maybe some of you weirdos at some point, and that's fine. But he's not going to have people his own age, and he isn't going to be able to he's going to have this thing that's going to make him fundamentally different than all the other kids around him. And it's hard enough being a teenager in this culture as it is to not to be know that that it's all that that I'm a little window of God looking out in the universe and not be able to talk to anybody about it. I mean, think about us. If this is the only place that we're comfortable sharing these experiences with other people, as an adult, it can be isolating. Think about if you're 10 years old or 12 years old and you have this experience. Super isolating. And how are you going to talk to people about it? And if you talk to your school counselor, are they going to throw your parents in jail? Our culture does not have a receptacle to hold these experiences for children. So my goal, in what I'm doing here, and what we're doing as a community, building this community, and what I've tried to do over the years with psychedelic parenting, is to begin to build that receptacle. So maybe by the time he's got kids, his kids will have enough of a community around them of people that receptacle will be constructed, and and all of them have been super nice, and like Rick Doblin from Maps. That guy is the most giving person in terms of just encouraging young people to just go out there and do something like psychedelic parenting. I showed Rick, so I got it. I was super kind of Rick, you gotta see my website, and totally nerded out. And he showed me, he's like, this is exactly what our movement needs. This is families. It's mainstream. It's boring. It's normal people, and this is the gay marriage of psychedelia. You have to do more of this. And so that's right after that I started my podcast, and took his advice, and he really encouraged me to do more with it. So I've really found that the elders of this work have been really humble people that have been really interested in cultivating other younger people's interests and